Hello, I'm Martha Hess, class of 1967. For the last few months I've been telling stories about the history of Anderson Hall as preparations are being made to renovate this 142-year-old icon. Earlier videos told the story of the Anderson Tower bells, which called students to class and to daily activities for almost 100 years. Today, we have the opportunity to talk with an old bell ringer. Don Stupak from the class of 1962 rang the bell for 2 years as his student aid job. Each semester, he and another student rang the bell 27 times each class day. Wow. In addition, they raised and lowered the flag in the Anderson Tower 7 days a week. Let's go to the second floor and find Don.
I'm Don Stupak, class of 1962. I was a bell ringer as part of the student help program for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year on this. And this was the door, along with the history of everybody, whoever had the good fortune of ringing the bell at Maryville College. At the beginning of the school year, we would basically sit down or whatever, and the two of us just sit down and decide, well, you're here at this hour, you're here at this hour. I like to get up early in the morning, I don't like to get up early in the morning, or whatever. And so we just divided up kind of naturally in terms of who took the 6:30 in the morning bells and who took the 7:15 p.m. bells. The only hard part at that time, of course with no cell phones or anything, was the fact that you had no communication with the other person and got sick or something. Well, this was our instant messaging method. Well, it all depended how astute Dr. McClellan was that morning. But most mornings, if we were late, it was like, you got a note in your mailbox, the 6:30 bell rang at 6:35 this morning. But I went back and checked records, and in January of 1959, there were 3 straight overnight lows of 10 degrees, which means it was 10 degrees at 6:30 in the morning. And the heat didn't really turn on in Carnegie until around just before 6 o'clock. So it was a case of, well, it takes 1 minute and 15 seconds to get from here to there. So you allowed yourself 1 minute and 16 seconds to get there, ring the bell, and dash back to the dorm and to put the clothes on before the bell had to ring at 10 minutes to 7 on there. But it was a cold, frosty morn several times, and of course when you had to get the flag up, and if the wind was blowing and it was 10 degrees, things could get interesting, to say the least. Probably the absolute, well actually there were a couple of things, I'm a little off here. One was on a good clear morning, but just as the sun would be coming up over the Chilhowys on there, and that was okay. Probably the best thing, of course, was going down to Miss Miles' office at the end of the month and collecting your, I think it was either $15 or $20 that you got in your little pay packet at the start of, or at the end of every month. That made the whole thing kind of worthwhile.
Well, thanks so much, Don. Now let's go to the tower.
All right, let's do that. All right, up to the bell tower. This was done basically twice a day. In the wintertime, just before 8 o'clock. Summertime, a lot of times it was put up before the 7 o'clock breakfast bell. And about the only real problem was being sure that all the bats were at rest and all the dead birds were not underfoot. And then through the mysterious door into the attic. You can just keep on going up. All right, there we go. And there is the infamous bell. And all we had to do was to keep on going up. And then one last set of stairs.